I don't see a sale here. I see a nice little agreement that covers a couple of things that I think will give the plaintiff some recovery. He's driving a car. He's basically leasing the car from him. He's paying him. He's using the car. The car breaks down while he has it. You know, nobody's to blame for the impound fees, but he's responsible for them. So I think that the defendant for sure owes the $4,000 and change for the damages that he caused to the vehicle while he was driving it.
The engine broke down.
The engine broke down while he's driving it. He assumed
So
responsibility.
if you rent a car and you're driving along and the engine breaks down, you're responsible?
If I signed an agreement that says I am, and he signed an agreement that said he was responsible for maintenance, for insurance, when the car breaks down, he would be responsible to the plaintiff for the damages.
Well, what was his status?
He was a lessee.
Not a renter, as he...
No, not a renter. A lessee of the vehicle from him, in my view.
And their minds did not meet about price, but their minds did meet. Their minds did meet about maintenance. So I'm with Patricia on that. I think that he's responsible for the
You
bad
think that
engine.
in addition to the $2,800, he owes $4,000?
Yes, he owes to have the car repaired. The only issue that I'm looking at is the 3 months that he did not pay him for the car, but the car was out of service and out of commission because of the car breaking down while he had it.
Because he drove it.
Wait a second. I am changing my approach to this because their minds met about maintenance when they were under the impression that there was going to be a sale. And I am not sure that the intention of this agreement was that the defendant should take over all maintenance if there was no ultimate transaction where he owns the car. We've got to do more interpretation.
You know what it is? I know what it is. We don't know whether or not he caused the engine breakdown.
Right,
That's
precisely.
what it is. But whether or not it was his negligence that caused it, or whether or not the car broke down of its own age or volition, basically. That's the link that's missing here. Now, if we don't show that it was his negligence that causes the damage to the engine, do we still make payments to the plaintiff under a lease agreement? That's the next question.
Do we require negligence? I know I'm going back and forth, but there's something about it that's still...
The issue revolves around what was the status of the defendant. Did this convert into a bailment because of all the problems? And if he's a bailee, is he responsible absent negligence?
I think we're having a lot of trouble on this issue, so that shows there's a problem somewhere in the evidence. So that comes from the plaintiff's side of the table. So
you know what? That's exactly right. We're making it harder than we need to. He's not carried the burden.
I wouldn't give him the 4, but I would give him the other ancillary damages.
So we're going to give him the car payments, the towing, and the insurance.
Yep. Great.
Okay. I think we came to a good place with a lot of bad evidence.
Yeah.
So you're confused, he's confused, and we're confused about some of the things that are going on. That means you drew up a bad contract. We have to look at it from that perspective and impose conditions on that contract that the law implies. So what we've discerned here after rehashing the evidence that you've presented to us is that you had an agreement that you, the driver of this vehicle, would be responsible for 3 things clearly: insurance, maintenance, and damages. And of course, you had to make your payments, whether it was a purchase agreement or whether it was a lease agreement or a rental, however you want to call it. But in looking at this here, what we've concluded is that you are not responsible for everything that happened here. This car was 5 years old, 6 years old. The car engine broke down. We don't know that it was something he did. We have no way of knowing that this car just didn't break down based on age. You don't know either because you didn't have the car. Bottom line here is you were supposed to pay insurance. You still owe for that insurance $900. The car was towed when you had it. He paid for the towing through his insurance. That's another $914. You had the car 2 months out of the 4 months that he's claiming you owe him money for. You owe for those 2 months. So in total, sir, you're going to recover from the defendant for his responsibilities here $2,414. And that's the unanimous verdict of the court.